let's get into this. I'm really keen to pick your brain. It's a big week for Brexit. There were rumours that Sunak had already cut his deal with the EU about a fortnight ago. And it was some sort of like stealth operation, so to speak, which I thought was interesting because you could kind of view that in 2 or 3 ways. Like, number one, it could be seen like he's so efficient. He just sort of smashed out this deal to solve the protocol offhand, like it ain't no thing, right? And then number 2, you could also look at it like this is Sunak showing leadership, like it very much is a big deal. And Sunak wants to be seen as a geopolitical player, like a Blair or, like a problem solver on the island of Ireland. And then the third one, which is the one that I actually subscribe to, is that he's just so shit scared of his own party that he has to effectively run away and have these private conversations to get the shit nailed down before the ERG, and more importantly, before Boris Johnson hear about it and then start causing him problems. And it feels like those fears aren't without foundation, right? Because it seems like, Johnson was rumoured, I think 2 or 3 days ago, rumoured to be rallying the support of about 100 Tories to try and scupper whatever this deal was. Like, it's still not even clear what the deal is. And he's like, no,
I know. Oh, he's already coming out saying it'd be a great mistake. He is, of course, referring to something in particular, but it's all speculation. Like you say, this deal, no one knows what the hell's in it just yet. And actually, by the way, your what you were saying, you think the options are for Rishi Sunak there. I think it's a combination.
Okay.
But no matter what's in the detail, he has to get it through Parliament. So it doesn't matter if the rebellion starts now or then. There's going to be a rebellion because any concession is going to be seen as a betrayal of Brexit. But the bit that Boris Johnson is the wave, I think Boris Johnson is going to ride is the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill concession. So obviously this is that piece of legislation that the UK government put together itself, which basically allows us to unilaterally withdraw from the withdrawal agreement. So again, what the hell? As if you can't do that with your mortgage, can you? I can't. Can you just unilaterally? I can't do it with my phone contract. So how on earth can you do it with an international treaty that you bloody signed and you offered up as a win, you cretinous bastards? Our own government have said that this breaks international law, this piece of legislation, in a limited and specific way, albeit. The EU have said it is illegal and unrealistic, and they've talked about, legal action if they pursue it. So actually, Rishi Sunak, if he ditches this bit of it, and it only relates to the protocol, right? If he ditches this bit of it, that actually is diplomacy. That could see progress past this impasse, past this bloody purgatory that we're in. And yet they're saying, nah. And like you say, it's going to be the purists, the ideologues, the ERG. They are all going to ride that wave. And do you know what it is? It's going to be a wave back into number 10.
Yeah.
For Johnson.
I think that's the depressing thing, isn't it? It's like there's no sense that they're behaving this way or rejecting whatever this deal is because they have the interests of the country close to their heart, or they want to do what's best for the people or get the best trade deal even. It's just, what can we do to win? Or certainly on Johnson, like, is there anything that Boris Johnson wouldn't set fire to if it meant that it got him back into number 10?
He couldn't give a shit. The funniest thing as well, when you think about it like this, is he's done this before and it got him into number 10. He did it with Theresa May. The funny thing is then he was at least, he led the rebellion against her Chequers deal. Now he's leading a rebellion against sort of his own deal, really. Yeah. It's pathetic. And the thing I think, like, people, I have to stress this so people really know how insane this is, because the whole country got dragged through the Brexit shit because of the career aspirations of people like Boris Johnson. Right, because back when Theresa May was trying to get her Chequers deal through, I think it's an important detail. I know it's in the past, but it's so pertinent to now. The first time it went through Parliament, she was trying to get it through. Do you know who actually voted for it, supported it? You wouldn't believe it. Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
And Dominic Raab and Jacob Rees-Mogg. But only when they saw that it wasn't going to go through Parliament did they have their aha moment. And were like, do you know what? This is our route into number 10. And it worked for them. After that, do you remember he went out talking about how her Chequers deal was a suicide vest?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then so they've gone from supporting it, literally voting for it,
Yeah.
to suicide vest, giving the EU the detonator. And you know what? It worked for them because the three of them ended up as PM, Foreign Secretary, and Leader of the House. And this
Yeah.
is they're doing it again, doing
Well,
it
it's
again.
even more ridiculous than that, isn't it? It's sort of so when Boris Johnson was Foreign Secretary, yeah, he supported the deal that Theresa May was working on. Then he reneged on it and said he didn't support it. And then when he did become Prime Minister, it was basically her deal. Like in substance, he just repackaged it and then put it out on like nice little Twittery slick adverts saying Boris's oven ready deal. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah,
And then
of course,
they all,
he swapped the backstop for the protocol.
yeah.
And he did what she said she wouldn't do, which is put a border down the Irish Sea, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we are like a couple of years ahead, and they have the gall, the fucking temerity to stand there. Even though they stood up, people like Iain Duncan Smith in the House of Commons going like, I don't need to look at any more of this deal. I support it. I think it's great. Let's get it over the line. And now he's one of the main cheerleaders a couple of years on going like, well, no, this is a...
I know. There's a wonderful clip. You need to dig it out. You should put this in before you send it out. I don't know if you do that, but there is a clip, and he's like standing in the house going, if there is anything that it isn't in here, we've thrashed it out. We've spent like, and he says like an amount of hours. I think it's like something like 300 hours, which actually is bloody nothing in the grand scheme of things, and given the impact that this legislation would have on people, on lives, on livelihoods. And if there's anything, we've thrashed it around. Clearly, you don't know what the hell you were talking about, you dullard. You should be nowhere. This is what this is the thing that pains me. I used to really look up to people that worked in politics and be like, God, they must be so clever. They must be so clever. These people are so thick. I wouldn't put them in charge of budgeons.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Budgeons. Like if Budgeons were thinking about sponsoring the show, maybe. I mean, like I'm not saying anything. That was all Marina.